We're live. Hey, we're a little late. We were trying to get on by noon, but I said a couple minutes we'll be back, and we're here. This is Coach Manny with another Inner Circle show for you today. If you haven't joined our Inner Circle, take and enjoy today as we learn, as we teach about how to build your company with leadership and sales. This is an exciting episode. I'm really charged up. So let's get rolling with today's teaching. And remember, the Inner Circle, the best $29 you can spend a month, $29 a month, and it is powerful. So please join us soon. The world is changing at an astronomical rate. Technology shifting at an ever-increasing exponential rate. Every day, there's something new to help you grow your business, something to help you get amazing results. What are you to do? Where are you going to go find the best solution? And I'm going to put the link out there for those of you who want to get in and want to join us. So let me put that out there. Okay, so what's the best solution for you? You see, you're building your company requires extraordinary leadership and sales. You can't have one without the other. Your company's not going to get there. It's not going to go where you want to go. So when push comes to shove, when the lights go out, when you're sitting in your office long after everyone else is gone, there's still only two things. These two things that'll grow you an extraordinary business, and you got to have them both to really make it work in the long run. Simply put, extraordinary leadership and extraordinary selling. If you take both of these and you make them work, you can and will work through all the other issues that come up. That much I can tell you. You are ready to rock. And I know you are ready to rock out there today. But here's what you got to remember. But, and there's always the but, right? If you have a weakness in either of these areas, it'll cause you to fail. And many times it causes people to go out of business. It's just what happens. I'm going to share some stories with you today, and I hope that it'll help you. And then we're going to share 3 tips with you as well. So remember, this is the Inner Circle. This is what you get every week. And today's bonus is we're going to try to come back on with a quick Q&A session as well. So company number 1 was going all the way. They were rocking, they were rolling, they were making it happen. It was going the way it was supposed to. Their top line was busting sales records every year in their industry. They're on the fastest growing companies. They're getting these rewards and recognitions all over the place. But even with all those dollars coming in, they had a weak leadership process. Simply put, their leadership sucked. Okay, I have no other way to put it. And this led them to start losing their business. Their business started going down, down, down. And eventually they were at like 25% of their peak value when we started working with them. And they really looked like they could be on their way out of business, right? Or worse, just mediocre, right? I don't know sometimes what's worse. Is it worse to be out of business, or is it worse to just live mediocre? And those of you who are ready to rock out there know exactly what I mean. The good news is they got the leadership they needed. They made the changes. They brought in the right leadership. And today, this company is climbing back to the top. But this time, they already have a sales process. They added the leader. This time, it's going to be different. They plan to stay on top, and they have made sure they have the right people in both those key areas, in leadership and extraordinary sales process. And you too need to make that happen in your organization. Our second story is about a company that had those excellent leaders. And sometimes that happens. This is a story of a company who took great people who were super leaders in their own business, decided to start another business, got together. They had the right connections, and you know how it is a lot of times in business, your initial connections get you and get the business rolling. And those relationships that you've been building for years, and your company's up and they're growing and they're making money because you got those relationships. But at some point you get to the place where this company got, and now they need a sales process. And leadership wasn't enough, but they didn't have a sales process. And once the smoke cleared, they came to that conclusion, and there wasn't any growth. In fact, instead of growth, the company was going the other way. Even though the leadership was there, the sales were not. But the leadership had the great help. They had the skill, but they were trying to figure out what to do now. Their sales were falling off, and they were quickly going to the bottom. There's one good thing about having great leadership, right? When you have great leadership, you hopefully can anticipate. You see what's going on. You're wise enough and aggressive enough to make a change. And they did. They brought in a right sales process, which is now, just like our first example, taking this company back to the top. You see, those are two examples, two stories of great companies that got into trouble. And they got into trouble because you can't have just great sales and you can't have just great leadership. You got to put them together. And that's why I'm so excited about the episode today, because I know there's many of you out there that may be in that same situation. You might have that great leadership. You might have a great sales process, but if you don't have them together, both working for you, then you're not going to get to where you want to be. And I know so many of you out there are ready to make this work. You're ready to get to extraordinary. So those are two great stories. And because they didn't have what they needed, but they got it. However, I could also tell you a dozen stories of companies that didn't act or react quick enough to turn it around. Or even worse, and is stories of organizations that could have been there, that could have been great, but settled for mediocrity instead and never made the move to become extraordinary. Now, I know some of you think, well, that's okay. And maybe it is, but I don't think so. I think you either got to shoot for it or not. Are you? So the question to all those listening out there, and I know you are, because you wouldn't be on Coach Manny's process here. And this is what the inner circle is about, taking you to extraordinary, which is I know where you want to be. So if you're ready to build your company and take it to the extreme, today I'm going to share 3 tips with you that are going to take you over the top and get you rolling forward on this process. And remember, this is what we do every week in the inner circle. This is why you need to be a member. And there's a click right there in the comments. Click, get in, join. We're building. And it's just an amazing tool. I want you there because I want you to grow with us. And I think it'll be amazing if we can get you with us. So number 1 is sales. You have to have a hard commitment to increasing your business. And you have to have a process that's put into place that's going to make that happen, because it doesn't just happen. You can't just go hire a sales rep or a sales team and say, okay, now everything's good, let's go. Because I can tell you that dozens of people I've worked with over the years who tried it and tried it again and tried it again, and it didn't work. You've got to have more than that. You got to have a commitment to a sales process. You got to test it. You got to try it. You got to modify it. You got to update it. You got to monitor. You got to stay on top of it. It's a sales system, and the system that works produces you leads, produces closes, produces sales, produces business, and produces repeat business. If it's not working as it did before, if you find hiccups in there, you find roadblocks, you've got to address them, and the system has to be able to show you where they are. And then once you find them, you have to be able to fix those issues and keep going. And your sales process has to run continuously 365 days a year. Bang. So if you don't have a sales process, or your sales process isn't working, get the help you need. Remember, if you're not growing, you're dying. No one can just stay even. You're either growing or you're not. So get a sales process in place. Number 2, okay, so now you got a sales process, you also need leaders. Many times, and this is the thing I have to deal with companies on a consistent basis all the time, and I have to tell them this, and nobody ever likes it. I said, the leaders who get you to step A, or even the leaders get you to step B or C in your growth, and they've done a great job, and they've been there for you, but they may not necessarily be the people that can take you over the top to the next level. Doesn't mean there's not a place for them. It just means that you have to make sure, just like your sales process has to keep working, your leadership process has to keep working, and you have to keep building it. You know, the worst thing can happen too is sometimes those leaders that got you there, they're happy. They're happy where they are, and they're not interested in going to that next step. And I happen to have the chance to work with some companies in that space as well. And that's a tougher move sometimes, because people are content. Well, let's just stay here. We're making money. We're doing good. But a CEO has a greater vision than that, wants to take it further. So that can be a tough spot to be in. Keep your leadership team focused on 3 things. The long term. Where are we going to be 10 years from now? And I know sometimes people say, Manny, that's like forever. 5 to 10 years out. You got to understand in today's environment. You got to be studying. You got to be reading. Your leaders need to understand where your industry is going, where your business is going, and what you're going to be able to do. You got to be out that far. Then you got to look at the midterm, which is the 1 to 3 years. You got to stay on top. Where are we at? Right there. And then, of course, looks like we lost you here. Let's try and reconnect here. All right. We're trying to get back to where we need to be. I feel bad we lost you. Let's see if